So I decided to stop living out of a suitcase and being homeless for the last month. And the dust has settled, and I'm here now in New York City, living for undetermined amount of time. And in this video, I'm going to explain why I decided to leave Maui and come here and end up in Manhattan. A lot of people might think that I might be kind of crazy for doing that, and I don't think so. And so I want to explain a little bit about my mindset with that, because I think a lot of people can relate to it and will be surprised that they might have been or are struggling with some of the things that I was struggling with. So last year, when COVID popped off, everything got crazy. Rather than stop doing life, I decided to go all in even more. I mean, I was already going all in, but I decided to put my head down and grind even harder and focus on building what I was building in my businesses and growing, what I was doing. And I hit a wall. I hit a plateau where my creative mechanism wasn't working anymore. I mean, I would wake up in the day-to-day and I was going through the motions, but I wasn't pushing myself to break through the different levels. And I was just comfortable doing what I was doing every day, which was great, right? Arguably, I could be very happy just doing that stuff. But I know that right now, where I'm at in my life, I'm focused on hyper growth. Really, I'm just trying to grow as much as I can. I mean, I'm talking intellectually, spiritually, physically, my businesses, financially, in my relationships, loved and with friends. And in order to do that, I have to leave my comfort zone. And there's a lot of fear in doing what I'm doing. Where I'm living right now, some people, if you knew how much I was probably paying for this place that I'm living in right now, most people would probably have a heart attack. But I have my reasons. And it's pretty simple. It's if I drop myself in the deep end of life and what I'm doing. And for me right now, this is the deep end. I'm in the deep end. And I have no other option to swim and get out and figure out how to get through that next layer. That's the way that I'm going to get through that next layer. And I've figured that out at different points in my life already, where I've had to force myself into these uncomfortable situations so that I could reach the next level. And that's really, really where I'm at. I mean, I talk about a lot about getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. And if you can get good at that, then you'll be able to see tremendous amount of growth in your life, because we all hate doing certain things. But looking back, I mean, those things that you absolutely hate, or when you're going through, they're the most horrific experience. Looking back 3 years later, 5 years later, whatever, if those aren't the experiences that you've realized, like, hey, those are where I got the most growth, or I hated it going through it, but I'm glad I did. It made me a better person. Then you probably have something else you need to think about. You probably need to go sit under a tree for a while and figure some stuff out. But for me, that's what it's always been. So when I reach these different levels of where I am just going through the motions, and the things that I'm paying attention to most closely, like being able to be creative, growing my business relationships, strategic opportunities, if that's not working and I'm not able to do that anymore, then I need to change something. So what's different about Maui and where I'm at here in the city is there's just so much competition here in the world of business. And that's an amazing place to put yourself in. I mean, just walking around this place, you see all these people that are in this spirit of competition and creating the best products and services and food and businesses. And what happens is the best of the best of the best rises to the top. And the things that are not the best just kind of wither away, right? They get outbeat. And so I'm forcing myself to get in that mindset and dropping myself in the deep end, like I've said. And one of the big things that I've seen already, just in the few short weeks that I've been here, is just the ability to grow these business opportunities and strategic relationships. I'm literally right down the street from Google headquarters. I'm down the street from Yext headquarters. A lot of like big companies that I've worked with for a long time, but never been able to meet anybody in person, shake their hand and say, hey, we've been doing business for a long time. How can we take things to the next level? What opportunities do you guys have for me as an agency or somebody that builds software or somebody that has a coaching business? What opportunities do you guys have for me to bring to my audience or my people or my business or my customers? And even in the short time that I've been here, I've already been able to capitalize on that and have experiences where I'm able to grow in these ways where I wasn't able to do that anymore on Maui. And maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. That could be. Maybe I wasn't. I mean, there are a lot of reasons of things that just weren't happening how I hoped that they would happen. And for whatever reason, maybe it's just because I was too comfortable. And I can always go back to Maui. I can always go back to Maui. The only things that I own in my life right now, the only like real assets that I have are the land that I own and the crypto and the investments in my stock accounts that I have. Like, that's it. I do have a depreciating asset, which is my vehicle back in Maui, but it's paid for, and what are you gonna do, right? But other than that, I mean, I could always go back and it would be fine. But I feel like I would sell myself short if I didn't pursue this, if I didn't try to make this happen. So that's really what I'm doing out here. I think it's really important for me to make sure that I give it a full effort, because at the end of the day, the way that I look at my life and what I'm doing is, if I have some goals and dreams and visions of what I want to do and I'm just sitting on them, like, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. If I'm ever going to do those things, right now is the absolute best time to do those things. If I just wait, those moments are just going to pass me by. So if not right now, which is the best time ever, when am I going to do that? When are you going to do that? And so if you're somebody that maybe you're watching this and maybe you've experienced hitting some plateaus in your business, your job, or maybe it's your side hustle, or you have some ideas or things that you're sitting on, I would encourage you to figure out a way to get out of your comfort zone so that you can push through whatever obstacle it is that's holding you back from doing that. Maybe it's that you're afraid of going out there and networking. Maybe it's you're afraid of getting in front of a prospect and selling them your product. Or maybe it's that you are afraid of public speaking. I mean, there are a lot of things that hold people back. Whatever it is, if you don't face that fear, you're never going to break through to the next level. So that's really what it's all about. And if it doesn't work out, you can always go back, right? So I am looking forward to see what comes out of this. I have no idea. It's already been looking pretty good. I have a lot of changes that I've already experienced in my daily habits and routines that, again, also were getting very stagnant. It can be as simple as fixing your sleep schedule, the things you eat, your physical exercise, your activities, your day-to-day. You get in these habits going through something, especially like COVID, you can get in these habits of just eating like crap, not doing anything physical ever, watching TV every night, drinking alcohol all the time. And those habits, you keep doing them for a long time, they just keep stacking up and they get harder to break. I want to be on the opposite, right? I want to be in the opposite of all that. I want to read before I go to bed. I want to eat right. I want to explore these areas of uncomfortability so I get better at them. I don't want to drink alcohol all the time and party and do all those things. Like, that's old news, right? I'm at this period of changing all those things in my life, and I have been. So I'm excited to see what happens at the end of all this, and I'll see you guys soon.